Okay, if this is what we're doing, then this is what we're doing. Talking about the real reason Frenemies broke up. So, like, clickbait is crazy. At this point, it's actually just like, it's amusing if it wasn't amusing. One, in this video, I will be defending my sister. And just continuing the continuation of this saga, because clearly he likes to drag it out. He's making jokes about it. So he says I'm ruining his family, but continues to make these videos. This specific one. And also, by the way, there's new merch at sadboy2005.com. I also have skincare at trisha.com, and there will be plenty of ads in this video. Thank you for coming. Where do we even start? So, oh God, okay. So I haven't really brought up anything since Sunday, right? So it's gonna be like a little bit of serious, and I don't know, maybe this will probably be a lot serious, because like I was biting my tongue, right? Like, you know, people know that like if you bait me, I do a reaction. Everybody knows this, like something that I probably need to work on, but we'll cross that bridge another time. I'm already working through a lot of mental issues. So Ethan clickbaited the frenemies, might as well be frenemies because it's in the title. Why frenemies really ended or something. To which the only thing he said in the video, and the only thing he focused on was, sorry, I'm like burpy, sorry. I'm trying not to edit because I don't have, and I'm sorry that I make so many TikToks and videos because I don't have, and I don't edit my videos because I don't have a crew. I don't have a wonderful staff to produce my content for me and make my little script. It's so funny because like, he's like, we put in so much work to this. Like, Ethan just shows up too. Like he edits out so many times when he's just like, maybe not even in the lives. I think in the lives you can see it, but he edits out so many times when he's looking at the screen and like, what is this? What, this is too confusing. Like he doesn't, like the staff puts together the go-to. Anyways, shout out staff. Like I really do hope that staff be getting that 5% because that was in addition to what they were already getting paid. The staff gets paid whether Frenemies goes or not. They were getting paid years before Frenemies started. 5% was in addition to, and for everyone mocking the 5%, like it's a lot of money. Like it is a lot of money. So I really hope they each get about $10,000 raised a month, like each of the employees. Like honestly, they deserve it, and I hope they get it. But also, Ethan just glossing over the fact that he gets 100% of the highlights, which is 40 million views that I haven't gotten anything from, which is fine, which is supposed to go to production costs, which the production cost is only the table and the new cameras. But I digress. Okay, cool. He likes to mock it, whatever. It's fine. Like, I get it now. Like, you know, he's also egging this on and dragging this on, so here it is with all the ads and all the glory. Like, I'm happy to too. But one thing that did annoy me, and like, I was really trying to hold my tongue because like for me I was like, you know what, I just want this to pass, but I was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think I'm ready for it to pass. No, because if you're gonna keep dragging it on, so will I. But the thing that really did annoy me, and I will say this is like my serious point that I want to make in this video, because it's like, for one, my sister's TikTok was deleted like an hour after she made it. I hadn't even seen the TikTok before she deleted it. Obviously she knew that it was gonna make things worse. I ask everybody in my life to not talk about it, Moses, everybody, because like it makes situations worse, and it gets other people involved that don't need to be involved. I've said this from day one, that is between me and Ethan. The issue was Ethan lied, and he admitted to it. He said he misspoke, which is, you lied. He basically told me, he's like, after our big fight on the episode or whatever, he texted me. First he texted Moses, hey, is Trisha still down to film tomorrow? Obviously Moses was wrong because he doesn't speak for me. Then he texted me, hey, we spent $5,000. This is this exact thing. We spent $5,000 on this braid room tomorrow. Like, are you still down to film? I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'm down. Like, that's what I do. I'm a freaking professional. Like, if this was a reality show, I'll come back and like wreak havoc, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, absolutely, I will. So this whole Trisha said she wouldn't come back unless the crew was fired and Dan was fired. Like, that's so insane to me, because I literally was like, yeah, I'm coming back the next day. I come back, like, whatever. But the fact is, I said, yes, I'll come back. Everything is cool. We were texting back and forth about other bullshit that was happening on the internet, just like drama or whatever. And then a couple hours later, he's like, actually, that was Sam's segment that you discarded, and she's really upset, and Ethan's really upset, and the crew just needs a few days. Like, they don't want to film tomorrow. Like, that's what he said. So now that he misspoke about that, the thing that launched all of this, which is like, oh, they felt disrespected, like I had already had my issues with, like, I don't know if Frenemies was working in my favor. Like, it's stuff I should have brought up to Ethan, and I did not. But I was already having issues, and I was like, okay, if this is not reflecting where the crew feels disrespected, like, you know, I should quit. I told Ethan I was gonna quit before I made the video. Like, I made the video. There was no hate in that video, all that stuff like that. By the way, there's just so much to unload, because I was really like holding back. But by just putting a disclaimer, like, don't send hate towards people, like, that doesn't help. When you punch down, which Ethan is notorious for punching down, and that's what he did with my sister. So let's go back to this whole why Frenemies really ended, which is him implying that my sister was the reason that it ended, I guess, because that's all he talked about in the video. Ethan does a thing where he punched down on people, right? Like, he obviously knows he has a really loyal fan base, and they're a really loud fan base. I'm obviously the one getting all the hate. They see that. So for them to do this video, like, defending themselves when I'm the one getting all the hate, it's like, it's really just punching down. It's just punching when it's low. My sister deleted that TikTok within an hour. It wasn't even up. Ethan had texted Moses that night, like, about the TikTok. I was like, what the heck? And I went to go look for it. It wasn't up. Then Ethan re-uploads her TikTok on his. It's still up. Okay, fine. Tit for tat, eye for eye. You want to, like, you got upset by something she said, like, okay, defend yourself, whatever. But then to make a whole podcast where you clearly clickbaited, where you knew everyone was going to watch, the real reason why Frenemies ended, and it worked. There was like 100,000 people watching it live. It's like 1.5 million views now. I was like, and then to talk about it all about my sister and all the work that she does and stuff like that, I was like, that's like punching low because she already deleted it. Like, what else do you want? Like, she already deleted it. I talked about it on TikTok this morning, but I'm going to just go ahead and talk about it in here. It's first and foremost, I have to say, this is just so stupid that this is like what Ethan grasped onto. And I am saying Ethan because, again, it's between me and Ethan. I know Hila and him are married and she wants to defend him and sit by him. And I respect that. I totally respect that. But like, again, as far as I'm concerned, this is between me and Ethan, like me and Ethan text. I haven't had any conversations with Hila about this. So, and she respectfully, she wasn't at the Frenemies when it happened. So of course she's not going to know about everything that happened, but what he fills her in on. And again, I respect it. And I just want to reiterate that I love and respect Hila. I appreciate her for giving me, for stuff that nasty stuff I said to her, last year. Like, it's disgusting. I know I would never forgive me. I don't forgive myself for it. And I like I said, I love and respect her. And I think she's, she is busy running a huge company that I'm sure gives contracts to their employees. But besides that, again, I'm keeping this between me and him because everyone's like, Ethan saying you're ruining our family, when Ethan is the one texting Moses saying that I tried to ruin his life last year, like bringing stuff up from so long ago. Like, it's really frustrating. It's really annoying. Like, and before anyone's like, oh my God, why is Moses telling you those? Like, Moses and I are also family. You're like, oh, that's between family. Moses and I are a family now. Like, we're getting married. We are a family. You know what I mean? We share everything. I share every single text with him, whatever the case. So, and it's fine. It's fine, and I mean, by now they should know that, whatever. And it's like, I want him to have a relationship. They're still invited to the wedding. Like I love, again, this is a me and Ethan thing. It has literally nothing to do with anyone else as far as I'm concerned. And again, if it's like, okay, they're a duo, that's fine. I don't want to put that on Hila because she has always been respectful, nice, and gracious to me. And I can't say the same thing about Ethan all the time. So there's just so much to unload in this. There's so much to unload because Ethan, okay. Back to the sister thing. So Ethan brought it up in this whole thing, and you can't just give the disclaimer, don't send hate, when you're going with millions of followers and you're getting millions of viewers on your podcast to a person, my sister in this case, a small content creator who has 100,000 followers on TikTok, and that's where she posted it and deleted it right away. Like, you are sending a hate mob. That's just it. That's just, it would be like me punching down on like channels that dislike me. There's a lot of channels, and there's a lot of channels that speak like straight up, like just lies, just straight up lies about me. And it's like, I don't punch down because it's inciting hate regardless. Like, if there's an issue and if there's a serious enough issue, right, you get legal involved, you get whatever, but sending like your fans and like broadcasting it to them, like implying that that's the reason that Frenemies ended, the real reason why Frenemies ended, and then bringing up all the work that she does right online, like on other platforms, if you know what I'm saying, like the spicy account and stuff. It's really just inciting hate, and she's been getting a lot of it. And yesterday was really tough, and a lot of people think I was like trying to ignore it. It's like really that whole day, because I saw the title of it, I was trying to like disengage because I was like, okay, I'm not trying to like put this further. Like, I really am, like, I'll just end it. But like, the fact is, like, except for my TikToks this morning, because I did go off on TikTok this morning, just like Fish88, if you want to follow, Ethan's been making continuous TikToks about this. Like, it could end at any time. I stopped talking about it Sunday. It could have ended at any time, but he's making the TikToks. He's making these skits with his employees, which is fine. I know they're like trying to mock it and like make it light because he's trying to glaze over the fact of why it really ended, which is him lying to the employees. Because let's just say in a world where I wanted all the employees fired, Ethan as a boss talking to them behind my back like that, like when I'm also an employee, right, whatever, or working with them, like, that's sketchy. Like, no matter what, I did an interview the other day and the guy was like, he was definitely Team Ethan, I think, for the majority of it. But then he's like, that shit, like, even if that was true that I wanted to fire, like, going to your employees and saying, Trisha wants you fired, that's some manipulation. That's some bullshit. That is just bad bossing, period. Like, but at the end of the day, like, they're not, it's not a professional production crew, right? It's not professional, like, cameraman. It's not professional. It's cool. Like, he hires fans. It works for them. Like, you know, he hires, like, their girlfriends, and that works for them. Like, cool. Like, you know, cool. But then when you're, like, inciting the lies, like, back and forth, like, that's my issue. You know what I mean? And also that first reply video, just being like, painting me to be this horrible person, bringing up the stuff that I, you know, that happened to me last year, like, or that I did to them last year. You know what I mean? That all was forgiven, right? He was totally cool to continue working with me for 6 months and praising me online, saying, Trisha's my bestie. I love her. Like, I was so lucky to have her in the family. Like, yes, Moses and Trisha, your guys' relationship is killing it right now. But then to now throw it all in my face publicly, be like, don't forget she did this 6 months ago, but what you said was forgiven. And it's cool if they don't forgive me, but it's fake and hypocritical if they're doing that just for the money, or Ethan's doing that just for the money. Let me reiterate that. If he's just doing it for the money, a lot of people are like, well, he clearly was just like continuing the show for the money. Well, then it's fake and hypocritical. If I say I forgive someone, I forgive them, and I don't throw it back in their face 6 months later. You know what I mean? I mean, Ethan's always back to punching down. He's always punched down. Obviously, the first video he did of me was the, like, I literally never even mentioned him. And it was just like how she looks like a corpse and people look like Twinkies, and just coming for people about their plastic surgery when, like, he did about Nikita, but she was open about it. I've been open about it. Like, the side-by-side he used on my before and after was one that I had posted. So not denying, but he, you know, that's his tactic, right? It's like punching down on people. Like, I'm obviously hated online right now, which is, you know, it's honestly a lot of people, like a lot of people are being like, I hope you're doing, I mean, some people don't give a fuck, but so like a lot of people are like, I hope you're doing okay. And the thing is, I like am, because like, it's just, it was so blown out of proportion, and it's actually laughable to me. I mean, obviously the stuff with my sister, like, I thought was pretty low to like bring her up, because like, punch at me, like, you know, send hate my way, like, it's fine. I'm on the internet. I do that. The people do that. Like, I expect it, but like, I don't know, like, it just didn't sit right with me, because she had already apologized. She recognized that it was making the situation worse. So now if we're going to talk semantics on it, there's just so much I want to talk about, because then I want to talk about the private text messages. Like, this is the thing, like, Ethan is no better than me. Okay. Like, I think the thing is I keep admitting, like, I'm not a great person. I'm a shit person. I handle things shitty, but he can't admit, like, one fault. He'll say he misspoke, but mine are straight lies. Like, if I like don't remember something, or if I say something or whatever like that, then those are straight lies. But like, if he did something which was pretty detrimental to like the real end of Frenemies, which is, that was Sam's thing, that was Sam's content, you shit on, and Ian's upset, and they need a few days, the crew needs a few days. When they went and go film the next day, it's like, they really just sort of said, you shouldn't come tomorrow, not the crew needed days. So then when Dan went to Discord and said, that wasn't Sam's, I have no idea, Sam's idea, I don't know where Trisha got that from. And then he goes, and also no one told her that the crew wasn't going to film. We were ready to film. That's when I showed the text messages. And let's just not, again, think that Ethan is so above and elite me, because he showed my text messages the following Wednesday to prove that I'm a liar, because I said I loved the movie. I was hyping him up. I was like, oh yeah, I love that movie. And then when we watched the movie the day before, I was just like, oh, I like didn't see this movie. To me, that's not like a lot. It's just like him forgetting that it was his idea for the costume. Him saying, they're all your ideas. When I showed the text too, that they're his ideas. But again, none of this matters. And let's go, speaking of none of this matters, because it really is just not the point, and just so much deflection, and just going over this whole thing. Let's talk about the Disney thing, because everyone's like, well, she lied. Your sister lied. She really didn't lie. And I think okay. First and foremost, in a VIP trip, he's like, the VIP trip, you can include up to 10 people. That is true, but each person has to have their own ticket. So you still have to pay for each individual's tickets. Now, to clarify, this was a Disney trip. My mom has always taken me to Disney, but because I like to go VIP and stuff like that, like, they all pitched in, and they really did. My sister makes money doing her own work that they've discussed that I'm not going to like repeat on here. You know, my mom makes money. She, you know, she sells my stuff and everything like that. And so does Moses. So they all like chipped in for all of this, right? It was like a group thing. It was the VIP, it was the bus and all the stuff like that, plus the party, right? Moses took care of the party. So it was like this group thing, right? Now, like, obviously, once again, none of this really matters, right? Literally none of this matters because Ethan's still like texting Moses, like, I'm going to pay for it. Like, nobody wants to be paid. My sister did this TikTok. My sister misspoke. She inserted herself because she was trying to defend me and her in the situation that made us uncomfortable in the first place, which was the Disney trip, which is the candlestick thing, talking about my SA to my mom, regardless if I talk about it on the podcast, if I make all the jokes about it. Like, it's just so inappropriate to bring up to my mom and sister. Specifically, my sister really, like, had trouble dealing with that, like, because she's not as open about talking about my past. She's dated guys that have thrown me being that kind of worker in her face in the past, and she's just not as open. She doesn't, it's just not a comfortable thing. It's not something we talk like openly about. It's not something I make jokes with my family about. Like, it really, really affected us, like, after that trip. Like, it really did. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And I think that was like the beginning of my thinking that maybe Frenemies wasn't for me. Again, I'm not blaming Ethan for any of that. Like, I'm just thinking like, okay, maybe I thought that I could handle and like joke about this stuff. Like, I've always have. I mentioned it in David's vlog, like, you know what I mean? But then I realized like some of this stuff is like really something I need to deal with. Like, when we brought up the Robin Williams thing and I didn't want to talk about it, I was really like, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, I get it. I've been making jokes about it and like whatever, but it was something that like I'm really not healed from. And I shouldn't be joking about it. And I shouldn't laugh. Anyways, I already made a whole video about that besides the point. But yes, you do have to pay for individual tickets. Now, I was so happy that they came. How it all went was originally we were supposed to go for one of their family members' birthday in June. And they're like, you should come with us. I was like, yes. Then Ethan texted me like, maybe not because, we want it to be all about this person's birthday, obviously. Yes, of course. So then he was like, we should go though and still do a vlog. And so I was like, oh, well, weird, because they were surprising me. I remember just being on the couch and be like, well, weird. Like, I feel like they're surprising me, but they're not telling me because like they kept telling me to like, oh, keep Thursday open, whatever. And then he kind of asked Moses, and Moses was like, oh, because it was like a surprise, whatever. And then whatever. I was so happy. I would pay for everybody. And now as far as like the birthday dinner goes, like the begging thing, like it's just so crazy that this is what it's come to. Like, I don't even know. But like, I really do have to say this because I feel like I have to defend my sister because like, well, she lied. He begged to pay. Now, like, it wasn't a beg to pay situation. It also didn't matter. I paid for my own birthday dinner. It is fine. I paid for my own birthday dinners for so many years. Like, I don't expect anyone to pay for anything, including the Disneyland trip. I kept saying to my family, I kept saying to Moses, like, let me pay for it. Like, I feel guilty having anyone pay for anything. Like, so when we did all the food segments, like we paid, and I do think, I believe that Ethan paid for, maybe he paid for one of, I think he paid for one of the meals. Like, I have to really think about it, but, which is overly nice. Like to me, like, this kind of stuff is like just so silly. But like, as far as begging to pay for dinner, like, we did go out to like dinner or whatever like that, and it wasn't a begging to pay situation. It was just, he's like, I'll pay, and my sister's like, I'll pay, and he's like, I'll split it with you. And then I was like, no, because I don't like, to me, whatever you say, whatever, I hate the splitting thing. So the bill comes, whatever, like, no, so I'm the first. You could ask anyone to take out, I'm the first. I'm like, here's my card. But I was like, and then so I asked Moses to hand over the bag. I paid for it. Whatever, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a fight, and honestly, like, what was I supposed to do? Fight for it? Like, a lot of people do. Like, that's just what people do, whatever. But it's just not the point. But the fact that they took that, right, something that my sister deleted that I never even spoke on, that I still don't care. The only reason I'm speaking on it is to like say it wasn't like lies, right? Like, he didn't offer my sister money. I guess he offered Moses money, but again, none of this is like really relevant to the whole thing because they obviously have money. They pay for stuff. I pay for stuff, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I never was like, pay me for that. You know what? I don't know. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, even like the costumes and stuff, he like offered to pay the first time for like all the costumes that I've had made for us, for our couples costumes on the show. And like, of course, the first time I'm like, no, like, it's fine. Like, I don't care, like, I don't care about that stuff. I really don't. Like, the fact that this is like becoming a thing, I don't know. And like the 5% thing just being a joke and like mocking it. It's like, people being like, wow, because people now are like, wow, the 5%, like, I guess that paid for all 3 of your weddings. It's just like, it's really just annoying. And the Disneyland thing is the most annoying thing. And it's just so nitpicky. And it just takes away from the whole thing of like what the issue is. And I just think it was low. And it's the same thing as like, the punching down thing is something that I've just seen recently, right? We started Frenemies at the beginning of quarantine. Nobody was there except, once again, me, Dan, and Ethan. Now, as far as me and Dan, like, obviously, Dan had made it clear from the beginning, he didn't want me on the first H3 podcast. This is years ago, right? He wasn't a fan of mine, didn't want me on the show, whatever. Okay, that's my first introduction to Dan. And obviously, oh, I remember again. Sorry. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut this. It's so annoying. And so obviously, like, I mean, I don't think I've ever made it like, you know, I always was like, oh, the H3 crew, whatever. Like, you know, so that was before. But then as I like got to know them and started doing stuff with them and stuff, like, obviously I wasn't like fire Dan or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, Dan, I was like inviting to my wedding, you know, so it doesn't like make sense. But it was me, Dan, and Ethan, and, you know, Dan has always like hyped me up, always been nice to me, like, since we started Frenemies. Like, it's a different thing. So again, bringing up the past doesn't make any sense because like we didn't know each other. It was a long time ago. It was before Frenemies started. So it was just us three. And then like I noticed, like, as we started doing more stuff and like being outside and like the real world and vlogging, like, first and foremost, like, I even said it on the Disney vlog, like, I am not a vlogger. I don't feel like super comfortable vlogging. Like, and it's not like I'm like, again, blaming Ethan for it. Obviously I participated in it, but in general, I just don't vlog anymore. I feel like I'm disrupting people when I'm vlogging. I feel like I'm annoying and obnoxious, and I don't know. I just am like, that's just so not my thing anymore. Whatever. So then the second vlog we did was, the bus thing, right? The bus tour thing. And that's when I was just like, okay, so like they left it in. So again, not really having this, what do you call, I guess, sense or whatever of, like having, I gotta wrap this up. This is so freaking long. I don't know what's out there. Of like not knowing what's like not right to put in. Like, I was shocked that they left the homeless part in, like of him just like, of them filming like homeless tents in LA. And you know, I've been guilty of it too, being like, oh my God, there's like so much homeless and stuff like that. It's just, it's shocking. It is shocking, but it's like not funny. And it's not something cute to put in a vlog. So that was like the first thing. I was like, okay. The second thing in that, which I don't think made the vlog, was we went by this like lunch truck and it was like construction workers and him just like on his microphone, like being like, why are you eating there? And it's like, okay, it's construction workers working at the Beverly Hills thing. And then the final thing was that girl on the street. Like, yes, he was heckling people and people were like giving him like thumbs up, but this girl was like, this is all you have better to do is just like heckle me. And he's like, oh, just heckling me. Like, the fact that it was like left in there. And then I was just thinking like, okay, maybe that's the sense of humor or whatever. And I was like, this is not the sense of humor or the type of comedy I want to participate in it, where we're just like screaming outside of people's homes. You know what I mean? Like, and I get people think it's funny, and I know he's gonna be like, what are you, the comedy police? And it's like, I'm not the comedy police. I'm just saying, for me personally, that was like a time where I was just like, maybe this isn't like, we don't have that same sense of humor where like Frenemies worked, right? Because we're on this podcast, we have two different like things, whatever. And everyone's saying like, it's so weird that a show about being enemies ended when it's like literally in the title. And I totally agree, whatever. He's like, the final straw was like her posting the private text messages when he did the exact same thing that next day. And he read my text messages with Moses on episode 1. And I was just like, we both said like, no, that wasn't public. Ethan still like thinks that was already made public. It definitely wasn't. It was things that were like, don't put in there. Anyways, again, in the past. But I was like, okay, so that was the straw that broke the camel's back, was the text message, but then you also showed my text messages, so okay. Regardless of all of it, like, I do feel a sense of relief. You know, I am someone who doesn't, like, obviously, like, I quit, but I come back, right? Like, that's just, like, my thing, whatever. And I don't expect anyone to be like, oh, well, if you say you quit, then of course. But, like, that following day after the video was made, he did text me, like, I'm screwed with all this merch, like, I don't know what to do with it. And I was like, I'm happy to help promote it. Like, you don't have to give me any money. Like I said from the beginning, I was surprised they were going to give me any cut of that merch at all. Like, you know, it wasn't ever in our deal. It wasn't our thing. I was excited to, you know, have branded merch. I love merch. I buy merch. You can buy my merch. Like, I was excited. And I was like, I'll still promote it. And you don't have to, you know, pay me anything. Although now it comes out that he said all the Frenemies money went into the merch, which that was news to me. Like, you know, that was, so technically then you really didn't lose anything, because that was also, like, what people don't understand is, like, the Frenemies highlights is also, like, I attribute to that, like, Trisha being Trisha in the title, like, that is also the money that he's like, we will put towards production costs. So now he's saying he's putting it to the production of the merch. So I guess in that case, I don't feel as bad, because I'm like, okay, but I still hope people buy the merch. I still hope he makes money off of it, whatever. Like, I'm not trying to put, you know, any bad oho out there. Is that the word? I don't know. Because at the end of the day, like, right, like, it's fine. Like, you know, if it's done, it's done. Like, I'm not trying to beat like this like dead horse, right? But like, if you're gonna keep titling things frenemies, then I'll just go ahead and do it too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, give me those views, give me that AdSense too. You know what I mean? That, like, in this case, if this is what it is, it's money and it's drama, and you're making like jokes about it where you're totally comfortable with it, as is your crew, obviously not offended by it or upset by any of it, then hey, neither am I. I mean, I'm, as people keep pointing out, I'm the borderline over here. I'm the one that's up and down. I'm the schizophrenic. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I do let things go. Like, I'm up and down. I have highs and lows, and like, it's kind of whatever. And I don't know. Like I said, I think the thing with my sister, it just like, it really hurt because she is affected by it. Like, she is off the internet like for a while on it. You know what I mean? She's, you know, she was affected by it. And, you know, I obviously told her, because she wanted to fight back. My sister is very feisty. And, you know, I was just like, you know, it's just that thing is just not a big deal. But the fact that they like clickbaited that and then made that the segment, I was like, wow, okay. Like, there is a lot of other things you could like say about me or to me. But the fact of the matter is, like, honestly, it's not cool, like, him texting Moses that, like, I tried to ruin his life last year, like, trying to bring up stuff, again, from our past that we worked through. And the internet is obviously all hate towards our way, including Moses. Like, you know, they could say, don't incite hate towards Moses, don't send hate towards Moses. Like, he's in the middle of this, like, it's out there. And no matter what you say, by even, you know, it's out there. Oh, you know, why doesn't he do this? Why didn't he do this? When no one really knows the details of, like, his relationships with people and any of that stuff like that. It does suck. It does suck that he's in the middle of it. And he's always been like, I can say something, like, should I say? And I'm just like, no, because it's just not about him. Or, you know, my sister obviously shouldn't have gotten middle. I'm not denying that. Like, she obviously shouldn't have made that TikTok. You know what I mean? She deleted it. She knows that. And, like, as far as I'm concerned, it's not really about anyone else too. It's about me and Ethan. And Ethan misspoke about a very big thing. He put blame on specific people. Sam and the crew doesn't want to film with you. Like, that's a very specific thing. And and then he went and said that I wanted them all fired. That's very gross. That's what this is all about to me. And I was just like, wow, that's some pretty effed up shit, right? And maybe he wanted this downfall, maybe he wanted it to end. I'm not really sure, right? Because the only way he put out the episode thinking that, like, everything, like, obviously knowing that I was gonna get like hate and stuff like that, because in my head I'm still like, oh, it was like fine, because I really didn't think I was being, you know, obviously what I said was rude, but it wasn't like I was trying to attack the crew. So I was just like, okay, put it out there. But like, if he really thought this was so awful what I did in that episode, like, why even put it out? So obviously maybe wanted this downfall, maybe wanted a rift between me and the crew. I'm not really sure, to show some sort of power. I remember when he told AB to do the video about David Dobrik, to kind of play devil's advocate and be like on David Dobrik's defense team during all this, like after he had like when Seth was on the podcast and stuff like that, and after I came out with my stories, and then AB got all that hate. And then he turned it around and was like, well, AB, I hope you learned your lesson. Like, I basically like chastised AB, even though he asked him to do it. And now ever since, AB has been super quiet. So maybe it was like a power thing, or a thing to make me like more like quiet or something. I'm not really sure. Or to be more obedient. Like, you're right, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, come back. And that's what everyone's just like, apologize, Ethan, apologize. And it's like, I have no apologies to say to him. I do apologize to the staff once again, because like, being disrespectful is being disrespectful. And like I'm again, I didn't want them fired, but like, absolutely, they have every right to feel disrespected, and I apologize for that. But just know that it's a lie when I said I didn't want to come back to work, that I wanted everyone fired. Like, asking for in addition to is not firing a crew. There was never a Frenemies crew to fire. They have always had a job. They always had a full-time job. You know, they continue to, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, so I do apologize to them. I will continue to apologize to Gila for what I said to her, you know, back last year. Like, it's disgusting. I have no idea how you were able to forgive me and let me into your home and around your family. Like, I appreciate you. I love you. And I love your family. And I'm so honored to be a part of it. And I think that ruining our family thing was like, what Ethan said was like, that one hurt a lot. That one definitely hurt the most, because I'm really just, it's not even doing my best. It's like I'm leaving them out of that, because it really doesn't have anything to do with anyone else. So I do apologize to her. Obviously, I apologize to Moses. I feel horrible, you know, for Moses. Obviously, he's with me and loves me and all stuff like that. But like, all this stuff is not something he signed up for. But yeah, I mean, if this is the back and forth we're going to do, I mean, I'm just down to do it at this point. At first, I was like, you know, let it go, Trish, then you'll look like the bigger person. But when have I ever been the bigger person? Not today, not now. They're monetizing it, I'm monetizing it, you know, whatever. Let's go. Let's just keep going back and forth. And I guess, I don't know. At this point, like, it really does seem like we just like we didn't understand the assignment. Like, we just like lost the plot. I don't know how to use Gen Z things. And yeah, I don't know. Everyone's like, we're tired of hearing about this. And everyone's like, why aren't you responding? And so this is my response. I was doing TikToks. I was like, whatever, I don't want to make a whole video about it. But I was just like, okay. I saw the bait and like the whole clickbait and the 1.5 million. I'm like, oh, let's get 1.5 million, you know, whatever. I hope that clarified things. I don't know. Bottom line, like I really like, of all the things that I started feeling like kind of icky about towards Ethan, and he probably feels icky about a lot of things towards me, which is fine. But I was just like, this punching down thing is just like, it's just not cute. It's like not cute at all. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine like just going after, I don't know. I think I probably used to do that, but like there's so many channels that like actually like hate me, but like, again, or going for someone with like a lesser fan base, or going for, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. To me, it's just like, I see so many hate TikToks. What am I supposed to respond to like every single one? There's so many like untruths, and I'm just going to like respond to that. It's just, you know what I mean? I don't know. That just, I think, was just so crazy, and he missed the point entirely. And their logic of Ethan already addressed it on the podcast and he apologized, so it should all be forgotten. It should apply to me as well. If that's the logic we're going and that's the reality we're living in, then it should also apply to me. Stuff that I've apologized and addressed on the podcast should all be forgiven and forgotten, but it doesn't apply to me. It only applies to Ethan, right? Ethan can throw stuff in my face, but if he's apologized, then, you know, it's not even throwing it in my face. It's something that I like thought was okay, and now I'm just thinking, like, I'm like realizing to myself, I was just like, oh. So, and then so all this bullshit, I was like, oh my gosh, she accused me of SH, or her, you know, whatever, not SA, but SH. It's different. And I'm like, that's not it at all. Like, I'm just finally like coming to terms with like, okay, I shouldn't be okay with these kind of jokes, right? And I said, and I keep saying it, like, I'm not putting Ethan at blame. I'm like literally realizing this for myself, that I can't handle it, that I can't handle talking about it. And it really does affect me. And I realize, especially the scale that Frenemies was becoming, like, it is getting bigger. You know, my family is going to like find out stuff where it was so casual for me to talk about it before, because it felt like I had power and I had control over it if I was talking about it. But now it's like my family is finding about stuff that, you know, I'm actually not ready to handle and talk about, which is like crazy, because I really thought like all that in the past, I talk about it sometimes in the mindset of that didn't happen to me. That's just like a story I tell, when in reality it did. And I have to like come to terms with that, right? So all that to say, like, I was honestly ready to let it go. I didn't want more, you know, whatever, back and forth. But if this is the narrative, this is gonna be like the real reason Frenemies and this, and, you know, I was like, oh, I'll play it too. Like, you know, if that's what we're doing. I mean, it is sad, and it's like, whatever. But I mean, if this is the MO and this is like same old Trish, like, I guess then same old Trish. I don't know. Truly though, if I'm being sincere about it, right? Not trying to troll or anything, like, I am so sad about it, right? Like, when have I ever like not gone back to Frenemies, right? Like, the only reason I did put those private text messages, because like I did the video and I felt I was being responsible for the crew, and just being, I'm gonna take myself out of the situation, and at least I thought maybe temporarily and get back to it, whatever. Obviously, that's a dead and gone concept, but I did put out those text messages because I'm like, once I saw Dan being like, that wasn't Sam's idea, where did she even get that? That's when I was like, okay, I don't like people like controlling the reality that just happened hours before, because I do have schizophrenia, and that does include memory loss and delusions and stuff, and I'm on medication for it. I was like, no, I'm not gonna let someone like dictate reality for me, because I do get it confused a lot, and, you know, that's something I'm dealing with and whatever. But like, I was like, okay, that's why I try and like look and everything. And then when I saw like literally hours before him saying it was Sam's idea, and then Dan saying like, it wasn't Sam's idea, I have no idea where she got it from. I'm like, okay, put these together. Like, they're in the course of a 2-hour time span. Same thing with like, we were like, the crew needs a few days and then Dan being like, we were down to film, and they did film the next day. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, okay, that's not okay. There's no talking to Ethan at this point, because he's manipulating, he's lying, he's straight up lying, misspoke, lying. It's a big thing to misspeak on someone's name, right? Like, you're throwing other people now under the bus for it. Like, it's a pretty big thing to misspeak on. So if that was the final straw, then okay, so be it. But I am sad about it ending. Like, I literally was just like, hey, you've read my text messages. You're obviously lying in this situation. Here it is. I incriminated myself. Obviously, those text messages also made me look shitty. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I was thinking like, I'm going to dunk on Ethan. It was just like, no, this is what I said. And I didn't edit out like what I said in it, which, you know, got me hate, and rightfully so. And I apologized for that. But it is sad. Like, it is sad. Like, like I did an interview this week for this like I don't know, it's not out yet, but I did an interview, and like I said, he was pretty pro Ethan, and that's totally fine and whatever like that. I don't even know where my thought was. Oh, but he was just sad. He was ultimately sad Frenemies was ending, right? He's like, let me mediate and like bring Frenemies back. And so I think that is the saddest part. He's like, that was a great job, and everyone keeps saying it, and it is, you know what I mean? But if he's banking on like pushing me and getting reactions, and that's fine. And some people called it exploitative. I think it was D'Angelo Wallace. He's like, he's exploiting it, which it is, as am I exploiting it. You know, I have these things that I do snap and I do go off, and like any other production, like if it was Real Housewives, like be like, we're going to keep filming this and exploiting it for money. And I'm down to do that, because really that is my only discernible mark on the internet, right? And I've been trying to get better, but I can't just change overnight. It's gonna end soon. I feel like I've been talking too long, but you know, if that's what we're reliant on is him pushing me, which I felt he was doing in that situation, trying to push, and I was really trying to hold back. Like, obviously, like, you know, I didn't go off name calling or anything like that. I was trying to hold back. I didn't want that meme storming off, you know. I really was trying to like improve myself and not be that person. But I'm like, okay, if this is what we're trying to get, again, another walk off, and you're pushing it this way, like, there is a point where I do kind of like just black out and go. And I was holding it together. It was like right in that middle. But then to be like, oh, like too far, it's like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it is what it is. Again, as people have pointed out, I don't know what the basis of Frenemies being like, we don't really like each other, but we're family now or whatever. Like, that's the basis of the show and whatever. And I guess that's just is what it is. But like I said, once people started feeling disrespected, like the crew and stuff, then I was like, okay, then maybe it is going too far. Like because again, that wasn't my intention, but that's how they felt. So I'm like honoring their feelings, because then I was just like, and I wasn't blaming them. And that's not maybe it's like taking myself out of the situation, which I already felt to be kind of like maybe a little uncomfortable, maybe not really my place to be anymore, not on anyone else but myself, because I was like, oh, this is like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like their kind of thing, their kind of sense of humor, their, you know what I mean? And I've always made it clear that it wasn't my sense of humor, the H3 crew humor. It was never I never understood it. I like never watched it, never got it. So when it became more of that, right, quarantine's over, more people are involved, we're going out in public, you know, it just was like a huge adjustment to me that like maybe it wasn't the right fit. So maybe I sabotaged it, maybe he did, maybe it was just meant to be over this little 9-month span, whatever the case is. I am sad about it. It's obviously heartbreaking, and obviously on a personal level, like I keep saying, like yes, there's no reconciliation, like obviously on camera, but like personal level, like yeah, I want to reconcile. Everyone's like, you're making Moses choose between his family. Like, absolutely not. I don't think he has to choose at all. Everyone's invited to the wedding, and I hope everyone comes, and I hope by then everything is like calmed and cooled. I've owned up. I continue to own up to the shit I've done wrong. Like you know what I mean? Like, I have so much to work on, and it's like if he could just take like an ounce of that, you know what I mean? Like, that would be cool. That would be dope. And then maybe working on a personal, like, we're okay, you know, not besties, you know, but we're okay. Because I really do want to be okay with everybody, right? Like, truly, there is not, like, as much as Trisha wants to come back trolling and being like, you know, I truly do want peace, and I do want to hold back the Trish rants and the Trish for people that I feel should be held accountable who don't. People who can just not say sorry or not accept that they did anything wrong and stuff like that, and not just go after every little thing on the internet that everybody does and all the gossip and the drama, blah, 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 blah. So that's the real reason Frenemies broke up in my eyes, and that's it. Have a great Saturday. Love you guys. Sad Boy 2005 merch. Buy it, trishkin.com. Buy it, TikTok, TrishLikeFish88. Buy it, new Sad Boy album trigger warning. Buy it. Like a little. Okay, bye.